You're wrong about virtues of Christianity.
After the last video that I put up, I got a lot of questions and comments and things from people asking me, as an atheist, what is my basis of morals? Without God or without the Bible, how do I live a moral life? And I sat around for a while and I thought about it, and the more and more I thought about it, I began to realize that this is a very insulting question. They're basically telling me that without God, without the Bible, I can't be a moral human being. That I can't be a good human being. That lends itself to the conclusion that I am an incomplete person without God. Which to me is very insulting. And that raised a couple questions in my mind that I want to ask all you theists out there that watch my videos. Do you do what is right because you recognize what is right or what is good? Or do you do what is good because God commands it? Because if you're only doing what is good because God commands it, that's not morals. That's obedience. I heard a quote once in a book, and I wrote it down because I couldn't commit it to memory, but I wrote it down, that says, if God commands what is good because God recognizes what is good, then that proves that there is a standard of goodness independent from God, and therefore proves that God is not the source of good. So I ask theists again, do you do what is good because it is good, or do you do what is good because God commands it? And I argue the point that the Bible is a good source of morals, because I've heard a number of stories that are immoral in the Bible. The first example I can give you is the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm sure a lot of people who have and have not read the Bible have heard the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. It's about two cities that God finds particularly evil, so He's going to destroy them, basically. So God sends two angels to the cities to find the one holy man, and it happens to be a man named Lot. So the angels go into Lot's house. And now this is the part of the story where it becomes very immoral. And if you ever hear people talk about Lot's decision, this is what they're talking about. The angels go into Lot's house. And this is, by the way, this is Genesis chapter 19, verses 1 through 8. The angels go into Lot's house, and the townspeople, upon hearing that there are angels in Lot's house, they go to Lot. And they say, give us these angels, send these angels out to us, because they want to rape them. I'm not joking. They want to rape them. So Lot, doing the only thing he can think to do, offers his two young daughters to the crowd rather than the angels. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm a father. I have two daughters, 7 and 4. I would never in a million years give up my daughters to a mob of sex-crazed lunatics. I don't care who I'm protecting. I don't care if I'm protecting God Himself. I'd gladly give up God to a sex-crazed mob before my own daughters. And anybody that says different doesn't deserve to be a parent. And I don't care who that offends. Same story. Genesis chapter 19, verses 31 through 38. After this destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot and his family are spared. As they're leaving the city, they're told not to look back. Lot's wife looks back She's turned to a pillar of salt and she blows away. So now it's just Lot and his 2 daughters left. They go into a cave, and Lot's daughters get scared that they're never going to be able, they think they're the last 3 people on earth, so they think they're never going to be able to find husbands. So what do? They get their father drunk and they seduce him. And later on in the Bible, in different books of the Bible, God protects the offspring of this incestuous relationship between Lot and his daughters. Moral? Yeah. Incest. That's really moral. Getting your father drunk so you can seduce him, that's real moral. Another perfect example of morals: killing disobedient children. Exodus chapter 21 verse 17. And he that curseth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. You know, I was a teenager once. I said some pretty awful things to my parents. But I'm glad that my parents don't believe this book. And if they do, they obviously don't believe that part. Because I could never imagine killing one of my children just because they said something. I don't care what it was. That just doesn't make sense to me. And another little piece of immorality that I found, and has to go with intolerance. 2 John verse 10 says to avoid all non-Christians. That's intolerance. It's prejudice. Telling Christians to avoid anyone who doesn't agree with what they say. Why? What purpose does that serve? Oh, that's right. Because people who don't believe the Bible, the Holy Bible, usually think. Maybe that's why God doesn't want His people, speaking with non-believers. Oh no. Oh. People say that without God, people tell me that without God I can't be moral. I tell you that with God and with the Bible, you can't be moral. What do you say to that?